Hey guys, and welcome to FanCast. We're very grateful to be recording from the historic St Kilda Sports Club, the oldest locker room in the Southern Hemisphere. Join us on the bench where we talk all things footy. We're fans, and this is FanCast. Welcome to the show that has a proper footy chat and tries its best to copy its guests on the channel. Welcome to FanCast. And this is a very special one because we've got the 100K boys on here.
Tremendous introduction.
Hey, fantastic.
100K Sports.
Fantastic introduction. What's green and smells like bacon?
What?
Kermit the Frog's finger. So that's how we usually start our show. Sorry.
Excellent.
It's usually you do a joke, so well done.
No, I got no jokes. This was joke enough as it is.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good. We appreciated it.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for the apple juices, boys.
You're very welcome.
The M&M.
We've got a ripping hangover. We had Darcy's 30th on the Sunday, so we went out last night. We all worked today, and then so we're here. We're up and about. This is actually helping a little.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
30.
30.
You only look 16.
Yeah, we actually walked into Crown yesterday, went to go play the tables, and he asked me how old I was. I'm like, stop it. I'm 30. You
Like,
idiot.
who let you know? Who told you to ask me this question today?
It was good. We had a good weekend. We had a couple of big nights, and the Blues got to win, Swans got to win, and the
Swans
Bombers
lost.
So it's all good.
The Swans lost.
Oh, you know, you guys did lose, so that's what makes it even better.
Who'd you guys lose to?
Brisbane.
Sorry, I can't be the only one that had to have a loss this week. I'm sorry. But how you boys doing? Thank you so much for coming on, freeing up a night here in your very busy schedules because you guys have been really popping off recently.
Yeah, it has been slowly. I guess we've been doing, our show now. This is our 6th season, which a lot of people don't know. Because some people come across, like, how long have you guys been doing it? We've actually been doing it for, 4 years. This is our 6th season. So usually we do NFL, then AFL, and we're sort of weeding off the NFL because a lot of the Australian fans don't like it as much. But yeah, we've slowly been starting to get some traction. Instagram, I think now we're just above 20,000 followers, which we can't believe. And YouTube is slowly starting to tick away. So it's good. We're really enjoying it.
That's so good. 20K, guys. If you haven't already, come on, jump on board 100K Sports, guys. They are absolute legends. And you guys are really funny. But you also are doing it for a good cause, trying to get your viewers a lot of money.
Yeah, it's we put on a multi. It always started the multi, $10 to try and win 100K.
Yep.
And we see it as we always want to promote responsible gambling. Like, I don't want to say put $1,000 on this. Or we sort of used to say that when we regret it a bit. So we'd like to think everyone has. It's just $3 each for the three of us, or everyone has $10 or $5, or get with a couple of mates, $2.50 each. And it's about the journey of one day we're going to hit the 100K and how many people can be on it with us and how many people can win 100 grand. It'll be bloody exciting. So yeah, one day.
We always look at it like, listen to the multi, there's 25 legs, take out the best 10, disagree with another 10 and, just enjoy the show. But the best thing about odds is like you want to take the higher ground. But if you didn't have odds, you wouldn't have favourites and underdogs. So it adds something to the game. So the odds are, obviously there's some problems with gambling, don't get me wrong, but it's good to have someone that tells us who's the underdog and who's favourite for the Brownlow, all that sort of stuff. It's good to have.
Mate, you got odds in everything. There's
You bet on everything and everything.
Correct. And it's in microtransactions in so many games that people play on their phones these days as well.
Yep.
Every time you go and buy a lottery ticket, that's a form of gambling as well. So it's really prevalent in all of our lives, and obviously everything in moderation. And it's really important, exactly as you guys say, to be responsible with how you go about it. We're not here chucking thousands of dollars. It's having a fun time. It's having a good ride.
Well, especially for us, like, we love footy. So
Yeah,
this can
exactly.
sort of enhance your experience of watching the game, and you get a lot of people on for the ride. Like, we say we like Waterman for 3 goals. Like, anyone can see the stats. But we say he's the mud flap, like he's the Nebraskan waterfall. Like, you can call him whatever you want, all these nicknames. And so we sort of just try and make it a little bit enjoyable when we go to the games and watch. And our biggest thing, we just try and get to Sunday. So we try and get through the whole Saturday, which we technically were on the weekend.
Yeah.
And you've got it like about 15 green ticks there. It's like, boys, we're going. Like, let's go. And then everyone else starts to ride and sort of get along with it as well. And it is a bit of fun. Like, you sort of take the piss out of it and just keep going every week. And that's the best thing about footy. We've always got content there.
Yeah.
We've got something to react to, and then we've got something to preview for the next week. So yeah, it's always easy to come up with things because it's there, right there in front of you.
And you can even make things as boring as Brownlow Medal Night really exciting. Like you was telling me off the air that you had over around 1,300 people coming into your live stream when you had the Brownlow night. You're telling me about, what you guys were doing with Shark. And that just sounds so incredible, like the way you just get people involved and you're just having little wins along the way.
Yeah.
Because it can be a really boring, monotonous
Night.
Yeah.
It's not just a couple of hours.
The best thing
it's
about
a long time.
Best thing about YouTube, you watch the Brownlow, but you can, it's an awful watch, the Brownlow now.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's an
Boring
awful
as.
watch. So, we had so much fun last year. We'll do it again this year. Shout out to our boy, the Shark. He was bloody close last year. We talked about it off air, but so he didn't have, there was one game where no one had Lockie Neal for 3.
Yep.
He gets the 3 and wins the Brownlow. But other than that,
He was
I think
spot on.
he had it bang on. So
He did.
Lockie Neal wouldn't have given himself 3 votes for that
Charlie
game.
Cameron kicked 8 that game.
7 or 8 against the
7 or
Giants.
8.
Yeah.
Lockie Neal had 15 touches, 7 kicks.
He's got 3.
Meanwhile, Jason Horton-Francis, 7 disposals, 3 clangers, 3 votes.
Yeah.
Why not, mate?
Yeah.
He's a good player, though.
Horton-Francis?
Jason Horton-Francis. I like
Mate,
him.
we were
Bit of a
talking
sook.
about him last week. Yeah, that he's a sook. He's got this massive chip on his shoulder, and he just takes it out on teammates and takes it out.
He cost him the game against Gold Coast
Oh,
last
did he
week.
what?
Yeah,
He was
dogged it.
unhinged. Yeah.
100%. And we spoke about him last week. We weren't a big fan of Horton-Francis' antics, especially since he made the move across. He quit. He left North Melbourne.
Yep.
They obviously hoped that he would be, one of not a Harley Reid Messiah type sort of thing, but when you have a number 1 draft
Take
pick,
pick one, yeah. 100%.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like you're sort of investing that this guy is going to be a franchise type player, and for him to quit, go over there, and then continue to throw hissy fits and be a whiny bitch.
You get him and
then-
Zach Butters. Zach Butters gets fined every week as well.
Exactly.
Both of them are just white line fever.
they get sucked in, but I must say I love it because he just wants to win so bad.
Yeah.
And he got sucked in, but there's nothing worse than not feeling it from a player that they're as invested as you are as a fan. And he certainly is. So
You'd rather have someone like that than you have to stick a rocket up someone's ass, though.
For sure.
I feel like
That's
you'd rather
true.
have to have someone that
like when you watch Peter Wright be uncompetitive for a quarter
Oh.
and you're like, can you just do something, please?
the missing persons
I suppose
unit.
It's that
should come out
meme
and
with the
find him.
stick.
Yeah.
Do something.
I suppose there's a bit of passion with Jason Horton-Francis, but he does whinge a little bit too much. But yeah.
You spoke about Zach Butters, mate. Congratulations, Zach. You are now officially the most fined player in the competition. Well
Atta
done,
baby Zach.
I love him.
Money.
I love him. He'd be my top 5 favourite players in the comp.
He's so kamikaze, isn't
Oh, he's the best.
Was it
He's
him?
Tough as
He just
doesn't
cracks
play
in.
tough.
he? He is.
Him, Paul Curtis.
Combin.
Oh, mate, there is
Eddie
an AI song about Charlie Combin making the rounds that someone from some Rue podcast made, and it's a country style
Charlie Combin.
Charlie Combin. If you could find it somewhere, I've tried looking it up. I might try it again after this, but honestly, it is the funniest thing. It's got
torched us
3
yesterday.
verses as well. Like it's not even just like it's a full blown song.
Sounds great.
And I love it. It's really good. Something else that was really good was the potential grand final preview that we saw on the weekend. And no, it wasn't Carlton North Melbourne.
It
Sorry,
wasn't,
guys.
Wow.
It was, of course, your boys, the Swans. They did fall short, but it was at the Gabba, and you did have some injuries. So that was a ripping game. As a neutral, loved it. How did you feel as a Swanee?
Yeah, I can cop the loss. Like we were 2 down at halftime, bit injured, and you lose by a kick at the Gabba. It did feel like a final. Like the final score is 79-77. That little bit lower scoring. We kept Lockie Neal quiet. Isaac Heaney was quiet. No coach got beaten by what they know, sort of thing. And it did actually feel like grand final day in a way. So I could see it being the grand final preview for sure. Brisbane are all of a sudden in the top 4. They're probably the hottest team in the comp. These boys probably disagree. They think Carlton's going to be there. So, yeah.
Well, at the start of the year, we did all our season predictions and we did about a 40-minute show on each team. He had Sydney, Brisbane being the grand final. I had
Wow.
Carlton, Brisbane being grand final. So I feel we're sort of close there. So we've sort
So
of narrowed
close.
up to that.
This is in the preseason as well.
Yeah.
So this is not with obviously the ability to have seen games to give you extra sample size.
Well, after
These
the
are- these
first
are
5
predictions.
games, we put a line through Brisbane. We're like, well, they're not making it anymore. And then now they've just come out. As Jeff said, it definitely was like a real high final game. Pressure. Goal scoring wasn't up as much. But yeah, as you said, it could have gone either way. Like Brisbane, Archie kicked that goal late. Then they had another chance. And then the Swans still had a couple more entries. So as you said, you don't want to lose, but if you're going to lose, like it's not a bad way.
Correct.
You had your chances.
Yeah, it was out there on the line. It wasn't like, and McCluggage's goal as well.
Yeah.
Like that's unreal. Like you tell him,
He's a good player.
go and do that again, and he won't be able to do that again. That goal in the clutch, the bounce that it got, top of the goal square, managed to go through. It just has all of the hallmarks of an all-time great finals game. 100%.
Yeah.
I agree. And I wouldn't mind whatsoever. I know people, this is all for you Vic Bias fans out there. Now, it would be awesome if it was a Sydney-Brisbane grand final.
I am terrified of, so I've been to the last 3 losing grand finals as a Swan supporter. And I'm terrified of best team all year. We make it grand final day and we play Carlton or Collingwood, 90,000 fans, and we get done to a Vic team. And like, I'm terrified of that scenario. So I would love it to be Swans Brisbane. And if they beat us, better team on the day, I can probably cop it. I won't take it well, but I can cop it. But if it's Carlton or Collingwood or something, I'd be so upset.
Best team all year? Losing in a grand final? Gee, that sounds great, man. I'd love to know. I'd love to know how that sounds like. Jeez, man. Give me some of that.
I was having a look at the ladder today and we're kissed on the dick with games coming up. So like you have a look. So Hawthorn are 11th on 40 points. Carlton at 48 on second. So only 2 games clear.
Yeah.
Then you have a look at this weekend's game. So Carlton Port, massive finals implications.
Yeah.
Go down Suns Lions. So Suns probably have to win that.
Need to win.
They're a chance. Saints Bombers, not so much the Saints, but the Bombers have to win that if they want to keep coming.
We said that last week
Well,
and
that's
the week
right.
before.
And it's gonna keep happening. Otherwise, you're dead. And then you've got Swans Dogs at home for the Swans, but that's no certainty. And then Crows Hawks. The Hawks
gonna be
probably
an
have
awesome
to win
game.
that. So all of a sudden, all these games mean so much more than they would in round 20 of any other year. So we're bloody lucky with some games coming up.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be really good. If we lose, though, then it's not going to be really good at
You just
all.
can't drop games at the moment, can you? Like,
No.
the Dogs have gone to Geelong and beaten Geelong, and then they beat Carlton
Last
and
week,
you guys
unreal.
lost the 3 games, and it's just gonna change, isn't it?
All of a sudden, like these predictions that we had a couple of weeks ago, it's just like, yeah, we're sitting pretty. We should be in the 8. Lock us in. Lid's gone. We'll play a final. Are we going to finish top 4? Heck, we beat Melbourne. We're second on the ladder. Lose this week, we're out of the 8.
Yeah.
Heck, we could have been out of the 8 this week.
You guys
if-
should be
if
sitting
Melbourne won.
second, like pretty. Like if you beat Melbourne, you beat Adelaide at home. That's 2 easy games.
Yeah.
Well, not easy, but you'd pencil them in.
Well, for a good team, they're 2 easy games. But for an Essendon, nothing is easy at this point in time. We always find the hardest way to go about reaching results, I guess.
Do you reckon Ben Dixon, the gooch of Fox Footy,
He's a fuckwit.
he mozzed you a little bit?
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Dico.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
I watched that 3 weeks ago and I started laughing. I was just like, here we go.
He 100% put the mods. He's a Hawthorn, tragic through and through. And he's like just saying, what's going to happen if he's wrong about this? You know what I mean? Nothing. He cops no flack for it. It's just like, we know what you did there. We know what you did there.
Yeah.
Stuff you absolute
In
flog.
fairness to Ben, though, find a more versatile employee. He can do it all.
He's everywhere.
Host Saturday nights if he has to.
He does
the country games in Gatherround.
He did both
like Adam
days.
Hunter.
He did both days at Mount Barker Gatherround. We think he slept on the bench with a sleeping bag, and he was just there again the next day. He's everywhere for Fox Footy.
He is.
So, yeah,
He's
we're
desperate for the money.
Yeah,
He must be.
a big fan of Ben Dixon.
Yeah, we do love
Or
what
just
he
he
does.
just wants the clicks. He wants his voice out there so that he can continue mozzing the Bombers. Stuff you, Dixon. Mate, speaking of mozzing, mate, honestly, like, we've been talking up the Swans all year, the media. Well, the media the media was slow to start talking about the Swans. And I know a lot of the Swan supporters that I know were like, oi, where's the adulation for us and what we're doing? And then eventually all of a sudden someone asked a ridiculous question, are these Swans as good as the 2000 Essendon team? And then that was the first time where
I think that was me. I think that was me.
It was you. I know that was a shot at you, mate. It's not the case whatsoever. Our last good team, and we're going to keep on to that one because we don't have much else. But you got some injuries mounting at the moment. A lot of this season, it's not just who you play, it's when you play them. And now you're starting to get some injuries, and it's just like, is that going to possibly derail the season, or are you still confident that a top 2 spot is there?
Yeah, I can see it 2 different ways. Like, injuries suck. You don't want to be injured this time of year. You get worried, but that's why you win games early in the year to lock up this top position. So I think the only thing we can guarantee on the ladder right now is probably the Swans. Well, the Swans are going to finish on top. So, injuries come and go. We start getting Mills and Parker back into the team. Papley will come back, but as long as hopefully he's right for finals. McInerney comes back in. James Rowbottom comes back in. Like, at least we're on top and we're not having these injuries. Whereas Tom DeConning's out for the season today.
Home, hopefully the only home and away.
Home
Hopefully
and
it's back
away.
for finals.
But now they rely on Pitnet, and then if they start, they
Shit's
want
in
to they want to finish second and they don't want to leave the MCG. But if they drop a game, they shouldn't because TDK's not playing.
Yep.
Now they might finish third and have to go to the Gabba,
Or
fourth
Optus.
go to Optus Stadium
the
and play
Gabba.
Freo.
Oh,
You know, it's just it can happen so quick this season. So yes, I'm worried as a Swan supporter about the injuries, but I have a feeling you can lock us in to finish on top.
Yeah.
We're probably one win away from locking that in.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
Then it
just
goes
got to
to
get
the
healthy.
SCG.
Yeah, then it goes through the SCG,
and then to the MCG.
and we should be their grand final.
They
day.
should be at the MCG. All thing. But yeah, no, TDK. Jeez,
Massive
how
loss.
you feeling, man?
Pretty
How you
shattered,
feeling?
but we're just so lucky the fact that we have Pitnet in the wings. Like so lucky to actually have a secondary ruckman. I think with Kemp, hopefully he comes back in. He got absolutely bubble bathed by Hogan the week before.
Yep.
Squeaky clean. So he went back down to the twos. He was actually still available.
Wow.
And he's like, no, we're going to pick Sam Durden instead. Like that's how much
Get him out of the team ASAP.
So you get him, you get McGovern. It was good that we had Motlop back on the weekend over Sparkles and Sprinkles, Razio Fantasia. If he ever gets another game for us,
I have no idea what he gives you.
so he reckons
He has photos of Mrs. Voss. I
Yeah,
think.
we
He's a great clapper. He's great when he gets around the boys after they get a goal. He's a great celebrator. But outside of that,
So we get him, and then hopefully if Jack Martin can get a calf replacement eventually, so he come
luck
back for
with
one
that.
game, still played pretty well. He's been out since then. So I just think now that, as Kingy always calls it, the premiership runway, so it's like the last 5 games of the year, this is where you really want to, you're only probably going to make 1 or 2 more changes coming into that to actually get your final side in, and you just want to be hitting some sort of form towards the back end of the year. The only team that didn't really do it was the Pies in the Swans position last year, where they had top spots sewn up. Then they actually lost pretty much 3 of the last 4 games. Everyone's like, oh, can they do it? They had the week off, bang, straight in the prelim, straight in the grand final, and then obviously won. So I think we've seen enough tape on the Swans. Carlton, I'm actually I'm not overly confident with how we're playing. Hopefully we can get it there. Obviously we showed how well we could play against Geelong. Like when we played, like that was the best game I've ever seen us play. So we obviously know what our ceiling is. We just need our floor to come up a little bit more.
I struggle to at the moment envisage Carlton winning 3 finals. So if you're a supporter of your team, can you envisage your team winning 3 finals?
One's pretty hard at this point for my team. Yeah,
But
Shows
I
how hard
think
it
Jev,
is.
I think Jev, you could for sure. But as a Flagger supporter, little plug, t-shirt's insane. I just can't envisage it just yet. But I probably would have said that last year, and we were there at the Gabba at quarter time, purchasing our grand final tickets.
5 goals up.
We have to finish
Yeah.
second, I think. If we finish third, and then you have to go to the Gabba or Optus, say you lose that, then you got to play another final, then you got to try and go back somewhere. I can't see that. We have to finish second. Got to win that first one, and then if you end up losing the prelim, like whatever happens at prelim final week, but you just got to get yourself there as quickly as possible.
yeah. Because I was doing a ladder predictor today, just this afternoon.
I did one as well.
with my boss, who's a Carlton fan, and we just sort of ran it in a couple of differences in relation to some of the results. And we had this week's game where you guys play Port as your most important game, and if you were to lose this one, we had you finishing third.
Yep.
But if you win,
Second.
you finish second.
Yeah,
And
I'd agree with that.
and it's like, because we reran it, and he was a lot more confident about Essendon's chances than I was. He had us for sure beating Fremantle at the MCG next week, and I'm like, geez, I wish I had your confidence. But it's so tight, and I don't want to quote Brad Scott for saying that the competition is on a razor edge, because it really is so tight. And if you drop a game here or there, like we dropped 2 games in a row that we otherwise would have thought that we'd win, and all of a sudden, on the flip side, you had the Bulldogs win 2 games in a row that you think you weren't going to happen, like against your mob, and then against Geelong in GMHB. I did tip the GMHB, the Bulldogs win last week, so I was pretty happy with that.
It's so hard. You almost can't look at teams being like, oh, like we were lucky to win. Oh, like we should have won those ones. Because like Carlton, we should have lost to Brisbane round 1 essentially. We were down by like 40-something points. We probably should have lost to Richmond round 1. We've had a million of those games where we've just gotten over the line, but because you win, you just forget about it. Like you just got to just bank wins. That's all it's about. And then, but as you said, it's never been tougher. Like when we get to those finals, those top 8, those first 4 games, it's honestly like a pick 'em for all of them. It's honestly like a 50-50 game. It's whoever shows up. Yeah, which is
so good.
I don't think you've been able to say that for years. Usually
No.
if like first goes through 4th, you're like, oh, they're going to steamroll them, but you just don't know.
Exactly. No, the win papers over the cracks, 100%. As do certain players, they can paper over the cracks of what you can see in a list. And is there any one player in the competition that's so good at papering over cracks than Nick Dacos at the moment? Is there any player?
Good segue.
Jev, is there?
I think the only thing Collingwood do well is employ Nick Dacos. If Peter Dacos's parents didn't choose to move from Macedonia to North Preston, which was in Collingwood's drafting zone, I don't know what Collingwood would be good at right now because all they're good at doing is employing Nick Dacos.
Yep.
How did they get Nick Dacos? Because Peter Dacos played for Collingwood.
Yep.
And how did Peter Dacos get there? Because his parents chose to live in North Preston after moving. So it's the only thing they're good at. I don't think they've got one other player in the competition that's in their team that's top 5 in any position in the competition. Jack Ginnivan would be their second best player right now, but they trade him for nothing. They got Cyril Rioli, Lockie Schultz over from WA for a first rounder.
Delicious.
And he's done bugger all. Yeah, I think they're the third. I think it's West Coast, Richmond and Collingwood. I think North have gone past Collingwood. And I'll have a bet with any Collingwood supporter that North will finish higher than Collingwood next year when they're ready. Maybe we can go again in the off-season and you can get we can get Swoop Luke or something on and I'll have a bet with him next year.
I wouldn't say no to that. I love everything that just came out of your mouth. Stuff you Collingwood, you pieces. Cop a big dog up your Collingwood. You bloody deserve it. Fuck you all.
We said on the pod, so Jev said exactly that North Melbourne's list is in a better position January 2025 than Collingwood.
I agree.
So a lot of comments said this is a ridiculous take, but I said this on our pod last week. So we had 628 people vote, whether it was North or Collingwood.
That's a good sample size.
61% of people said North.
Yep.
So the comments, the people that disagreed were the loud ones.
Obviously
but
the Collingwood fans.
the 61%, that's
and the way I sort of justified is if Tassie were coming into the competition next year and they got to draft from all of Collingwood's list and all of North Melbourne's list, pick 1 would be Nick Dacos.
Yep.
Pick 2 would be Harry Sheasel.
Yep.
Pick 3 would be Nick Larkey.
Yep.
Pick 4 would be Luke Davies-Uniacke. And pick 5, I'd maybe take Wardlaw, Colby McKercher. Maybe Charlie Common's about to become a really good player.
Paul Curtis.
You know, our man Eddie Lamb chops forward. You know, anyone. And
Tristan Sherry.
So that's just my
and then
personal
maybe
opinion.
Johnny Noble.
Then maybe Johnny Noble. Yeah,
He doesn't wear deodorant. That's why he's always got space around him. Who called him that?
One of our mates.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was his face. The BT called Jaden Stevenson the spaceman because he always had space around him. That was
What a fall from grace.
That was a massive fall from grace for Stevenson for sure. But you're 100% correct. Like, honestly, who would you take? Because the Collingwood is an aging list. You've got Side Bum,
Side ass.
or Side Ass.
He's a very good footballer, experienced footballer, but he's old. He's getting old and he might go one more year. Pendles is still a good player, but like
he's 36.
Yeah, they're starting to look old a bit. And can you rely on Crisp? Like Jack Crisp is a good player, but I think he's sort of your 3rd or 4th or 5th midfielder.
If
it's Dacos, then Crisp. Darcy Moore is falling off a cliff.
The worst captain in the league.
I think
Is there actually a worse captain playing out there on a weekly basis than Darcy Moore right now?
He's too busy trying to go to the camera at halftime and say a speech and put his head over the fucking onion.
The most boring speeches ever. If he was as good at giving speeches as he was at playing football, he might be 1% better than what he is right now because those speeches are also very crap.
Well, where was it? Where would I say? It was like the Collingwood's players under 25. Like you say you take Nick and the rest was just like no one.
These no names
like
playing.
No one. Yep. Like all these guys that are playing BFL or playing twos that just aren't coming through. They're going to have to, if they can offload some players, I don't know who they are, but they're going to have to go back to the draft. But
they're going to have pick 7, which
Brio steak, thank you very much.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be interesting. But then they were in this position, not that bad, but 3 years ago, where they had to offload Treloar and Grundy.
Bro, they were kissing the dick.
And then they're just like, well, what? How are these guys? Well, they finished 4th.
They were kissed on Peter Dacos' dick.
They were.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable how the father-son works. Like, especially they got both of them. I mean, we're about to get kissed on the dick. We've got Walker's son coming through in the Camperali boys. So yeah, we'll be winning the flag.
But you won't be getting the discount for matching the father-sons anymore because that's.
No,
I think
that's coming after next year, though.
Oh, is it after next year?
I'm pretty sure we get them.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
you get all 3 of them this year, or is it just the Camperali boys
just the
this year?
Camperali boys, and then the Walker the year after.
Yeah.
1 or 2 years after.
That's not too bad.
Good.
That's pretty good. I just love bashing. The Pies, and I'm pretty sure Ginnivan had a great time bashing them as well.
He was
he was unreal, and I know there were a lot of Collingwood supporters out there that were very upset. We defended you last year. We were the ones that made you who you are, and now you come and put us to sleep.
I love it.
That was so good.
I love it.
I loved it.
He had such a good game. Like he would have stood up in the meeting in the middle of last week and just said, "Boys, like this is the one." We had our cracker gather round. We let them jump us at the start, and then they obviously came back where Hardwick turned into prime Tony Lockett and kicked 4 or 5 goals. And I just think that they knew they had him on toast. You watch the Pies the last few weeks; they've lost a step. They're definitely not playing to their structures as much. Like you watch some of their contest work real early, stoppages, and then when Hardwick came out from half back, literally picked it up, shrugged 2 tackles, bounced and went straight through. Like it was an avalanche of goals at the start, and the Pies just couldn't match them.
It was a midfield destruction,
Domination.
the like of which you are going to be rare to see, and it was in the wet, and it was disgusting conditions, and there was nowhere to hide. The inside 50s, 37 to 69.
Oh, yeah.
And they had 34 shots. They were less than 50% shot at goal accuracy, the Hawks. And they still absolutely dominated them in around the contested possessions. It was a 156 to 127.
Oh, smashed them.
Uncontested, 251 to 135. They've almost doubled them in every statistic in torrential conditions. This was a smashing, and I say everyone sort of washed their hands, and they've just put a line through Collingwood now. Like they know their season's done, and it's glorious to see. It's the only thing that allows me to get through life.
You really enjoyed the loss, didn't you?
Look, we lost too, but when Collingwood loses, it's almost as good as a win.
And those, you can't really read into those stats because a lot of it was junk time stuff where the Pies were starting to kick some goals late. Like it was over at half time.
It was 11 goals to 1 or whatever.
That's it. Like it was game over. So they look fucking. They're the best ticket in town.
They're
like,
must watch, aren't they? Nick Watson, Darcy, a big Nick Watson fan. I'm not a bigger fan of
the Wizard.
Darcy. I think he was the worst. You just can't draft a small forward to pick 5 is my personal opinion, but we'll see.
I thought Nate Caddy would have probably been a bit higher up, I think.
That's what I after Friday night I thought, how did the Hawks draft
the Wiz
over Nate Caddy? But then he had
some magic.
And he had his best game of the season.
Highest rated player on the ground, just feeding the boys up forward. He's an entertainment machine. Like you will tune in to watch him every week, whether put on a show or whether he fucks up and then everyone can just roast him. He'll just be that player on the edge every week, almost like a Ginnivan. Like when he does something well, you praise him and he's like the best player in the league. And when he falls off a cliff or he doesn't touch it, he will be the first one to get roasted. So that's just how his career is going to go. And I just love that he's already playing into it. Like he kicked 1 goal 4 the other day and he's just like shushing the crowd. Like who does that? So I'm all for it. I love the theatre of it. I love that the Hawks players are all getting around it. And it looks like all the veterans are happy to let them just do their thing and it's working.
They sort of feel like they're, as a club or as a team, they're really leaning into the social media and being controversial. Like, you know, Ginnivan doing that to the Pies fan, but now it's his profile picture on Twitter and it looks awesome. And AFL Central said it's their most shared post ever. As Wiz fires everyone's up. Ginnivan and CJ do TikTok dances out in the field. Basically, like they're really leaning into it and everyone's coming along for the ride. Just if they lose a bad final, like they're going to cop it and they're going to deserve
100%.
it.
But I think that's what it is. But I just like it because I don't think it feels cringy what they're doing at the moment.
No, it's great to
when
watch.
people do stuff, it's like, oh, that's
they're bringing the kids along.
It
like,
doesn't feel
kids,
forced.
No, but it's awesome. Like I love watching it.
I loved watching Jack Ginnivan on the weekend go at Braden Maynard.
So good.
I loved it.
Maynard, biggest fake tough guy in the competition, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, but Ginnivan was doing it last year when Kane with the GoPro and Kane Corns. You know what I mean? Like this is Ginnivan, and he just feels like that energy, that confidence, almost an arrogance. So much of football is a mindset. You know, you got to believe that you can win. Not even just football, but life in general. If you tackle life with a confidence and a self-belief that you can do anything, all of a sudden opportunities open up.
But he's just like a gun football. Like he's not. You wouldn't say he's the fastest. He's a supreme athlete. Like he's a high flyer. He's just a footballer. He always gets to the right spots. And like I remember I heard, but he kicked over like 100 goals in under 10. Like you're kicking 100 goals in under 10. Like he's just a gun. Like he always gets to those spots and like he'll always insert himself when he has to. So yeah, at the start of the year when they were zipping 5, that he looked bad. But now once everyone's come along with him, like he looks unbelievable. So I'm excited to see the Hawks make a push.
And they're bringing up people like Massimo D'Ambrosio along as well, who, you know, I was very sad to see him leave.
I was going to say, where did he come from?
I wanted us to keep him, and we wanted to keep him. We offered him a year, but it was a rookie contract. The Hawks saw, mate, you're worthy. You're worthy of a senior contract.
Could really use like a good left foot winger.
I know.
The Bombers could use one.
I know.
Oh, they had one.
Yeah, we had one, but we weren't playing him there, so he wasn't a winger at that point.
It's almost hard when you get some of those players. Like the Blues have, like we had a stack of like those medium-sized midfielders, like a Setterfield, and like not that he really. I know he's been a bit injured for you guys, but sometimes if you've just got too many of those players, as you said, like D'Ambrosio, like he just couldn't crack in. Why he had the perfect opportunity for Hawthorn. So I'm glad he's been playing well.
And the Hawks, North Melbourne. You know, these two teams were expected to be pretty low on the ladder, and they're both rocketing up at the moment. And you'd be hard pressed to say that these rebuilds could be done in the next 3 years almost. Yeah. And they're, pushing for potentially top 4, top 6.
I think Hawks will definitely get there quicker. I know they've got a lot of cap space. So say that they go out and try and, there was rumours, they're going to go after a defender. So say they go after Battle or one of our mates is a big Hawks supporter. Imagine they threw the sink at Mac Andrews.
Oh, yeah.
Like whether he wants to come home. He obviously grew up, did like the Melbourne Academy. So maybe he wants to come back to Victoria. Like what if they threw like 1.4 at him? Like and get another big defender. Like Hawthorn seems like a place that you want to go play your footy now. North, same thing. They just need to get 1 or 2 more big defenders. Their midfield's going to be awesome. And if you get another piece to hang around near Larky, like you can definitely see them starting to push up as well.
Yeah, because you look at North. You got a great ruck in Sherry. Their midfield is unreal. Their forward line, they've got Larky. Maybe
Curtis.
They've got Curtis, of course.
Eddie Ford,
mate, Mr. Bird.
Yeah, he's good.
He's really good. I loved that when he gave the bird. That was really funny. They've actually got a really good team. Griffin Logues played his first game on the weekend. Yeah. Obviously, when he gets a bit more run in the legs, he'll be a lot better.
He was a good defender when he was a Freo. He just hasn't had a really good run at it.
He's just been injured.
Off an ACL.
First game back. As soon as he starts to get a bit more running under the legs, they've got some good bounce off half back, with McKercher. You got the Fish. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. With that ball use, right?
I like Fish. I like him.
More now that he's not at Carlton.
Yeah. I just don't know if he hurts you. That's the thing. He's good for 30 now, which we found, obviously, looking at touches and disposals. Yes. But it's 30 that's, probably doesn't hurt you as much as another person's 24.
That's right. Yeah, no, 100%. Someone else who potentially might not be hurting people as much as they ought to, the Suns. As soon as you see them leave their home ground, it's just like, excellent, pencil in a win. They had a good chance on the weekend. There was no Cornelio for the Giants. Some people were talking them up potentially as winning, and then they were basically uncompetitive.
Yeah, you've got to. You don't like the Suns, do you? You don't like Dimmer and the Suns.
No, the Fraud Coast. Fraud Coast, and Dimmer's a whining bitch. And we see it again. Yeah,
they're a bloody good team at home. Like you go, this team could play finals, but as soon as they've got to sleep in another bed, geez,
I was going to say.
They are so bad.
They must have the best mattresses.
The Gold Coast are the best pillows and mattresses or something. But yeah, all their players become half of who they are. Like Ben King on the weekend, I didn't see much of the game.
Oh,
He was missing from 20 metres out, hitting the post, kicking out in the full. And it's like, you need your best – on the road is when your best players need to be at their best to win football games. And you got to rely on that. You got to rely on your key forwards. And if he's missing from there, how are they ever going to take the next step sort of thing? So, yeah.
I think we've seen enough of it on tape, though. It's like it's their inside 50 ball because they can still get it from D50 to 4. Like, they weren't uncompetitive on the weekend. If you watch the game, like it was still both teams cracking in, but they just fucking dogged it when they go towards goal. But as we said, it's like them playing in a sauna and then trying to perform in an ice bath. Like, it must be such a shock leaving the Gold Coast. Like, they'll watch them play this week. They're fucked at home. They are so good to watch.
They're going to beat the Lions, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we're betting on them.
The thing is, the Lions aren't leaving their state. It's still almost half a home ground advantage, perhaps.
They got them last year.
If Took goes to kneel again,
Took's out. Took's out.
So I wonder if I think they'll have to tag Neil, but yeah.
That's all right. No, that's all right. Noah's back home. Noah Anderson at
Yeah.
home is just becomes
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he
He's like
becomes a Hall of
33
Famer.
touches.
He's how high up is he in your pyramid? Is he in your pyramid?
No, he always has to stay on the bottom row because he never performs on the road, but he's so good at home. So it's like, how can I get him higher if every time they go on the road, he doesn't do anything, but he's that good at home? So he always has to stay. You got to be a real good player to be up there and, moving up the top.
Oh, sorry, we didn't introduce this idea for those who haven't watched it. What is this pyramid?
I call it my player pyramid. So there's one best player in the comp sits at the top, then it's 2, 3, 4, 21 best players in the comp. And we do it every 3 weeks. So I don't think it's tomorrow, it's next week.
Yeah.
And it's just saying you do, it's my opinion. I give stats while I do it and we put it out on Instagram. It's just our most, talked about thing. So we keep doing it. Everyone likes it. Everyone has their opinion. Everyone hates it or people like it. Oh, I get a lot of shit for how high I've got the Swans players sometimes, but it is what it is. When we're on fire, it's hard,
Yeah, exactly.
it's hard to not have Chad Warner in there or Errol or Isaac. So yeah,
Will be interesting. So Bont was on top.
I was going to ask, is it
Yeah.
the Bond? Yes.
So round 16 we did it. So it was Bont on top, Dacos and Cripps both level 2. So
Dacos is going down.
Dacos got.
He's on a
If I
slide.
was doing one right now, it would be Cripps on top, Bont and Lockie Neal, second and third. And then I'll start thinking about that third row. I think Chad stays on that third row.
Yeah, Chad's still been good.
we got a blank spot on the bottom too. So round 16, Gabe was sort of tossing and turning on who to fill last spot. And Breast Milk's brother, I should say.
Breast Milk's twin sister.
He got onto the bottom rung, but then the next week, which we've never done before, Jeff took him out of the pyramid. Just couldn't stand to have him on the pyramid. So
Yeah, so Ben King's not in. So
Got
there's
a
a
blank
spare spot. I got a lot of love. Sam Durham should maybe be in there.
Oh,
Surely not.
I'd put Jai Caldwell ahead of
You'd put Jai Caldwell ahead of Sam Durham.
Yeah, put Jai Caldwell ahead of
You,
Sam.
you like Jai Caldwell probably more.
I think he's all right.
I like Sam Durham.
They're both
21
tough
though.
as nails, but I think Jai Caldwell's.
I don't think Essendon have another player inside the top 20.
And so, yeah, I mean, the thing is, we don't really have
Merritt's a
the
gun.
stars.
Merritt's a gun.
I don't think we have. Contract year Stringer before he signs the contract, he's definitely up there. I feel like he's definitely signed the contract, and they're just waiting for a win to announce it because he's been playing dog shit.
Yeah, you're probably
in the
right.
last few weeks. So I swear he's already signed that contract.
the Hawks have to have another player, surely.
Surely,
They got Will Day in there.
I was about to
That's
say
right.
Will Day.
Will Day's in there.
And
but-
Newcomb and Warple have just been they're just bang on, just under. Like they're in that next pyramid. Like they've just been so
like the-
serviceable, but not like the game breakers.
I had a player in mind the other day. I can't remember him off the top of my head right now.
Phillips, no.
Okay, he's in there.
He's in there.
Sarong's always up there. Yeah, do I bring in Hayden Young or Andrew Brayshaw? They're playing
Yeah,
good footy every week.
they
So, yeah, that was
What
the one.
about
Hayden
Clayton
Young.
Oliver?
Nah.
Nah.
I was,
He used to be on top.
He used
he's
to
been
be
on top, and he sent us a message like, "Thanks for having us on top."
Oh, sick.
But now they owe him $10 million over the next 7 years.
Oh my God, they're trading him, aren't they?
Well, I heard Kane Corn say if they were to trade him, they'd have to put their first round pick on. So Adelaide, you can have Clayton Oliver to have that contract and our first round pick
What?
to get rid of him.
They can't.
No.
No one will touch him.
That much money. that way.
Untouchable. Yeah, untouchable. Would you want him at the Bombers on that contract?
Yeah, of course.
Would you?
We're shit. No. We're not that bad.
What's the difference between him and Sam? Like I'd nearly take Sam Durham over him right now.
Sam Durham's. I actually am really happy with our midfield mix, especially when we get Parrish back
Yeah,
in the
how long
side.
until he's back?
Man, Parrish has been 1 to 2 weeks for 4 weeks.
Yeah, true. He's such a good clearance player for you guys. Like that's who you need, just like that one other touch.
As soon as
'Cause he's a
he
good
went
clearance
out,
player.
as soon as he went out with injury, we've started to lose the clearance battle, and the field position has been a little bit shakier. He's definitely someone that is, I think, severely underrated because a lot of people think that his possessions aren't damaging enough, but it's not him himself who's going to be the damaging player.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with
It's,
that.
it's him releasing the likes of Zach Merritt,
Yeah.
who is without a doubt our most damaging player.
He's a gun. I love
He's a
watching
star,
Zach Merritt
Yeah,
play.
so, I mean, I say it every time I watch him, we don't deserve you, Zach. We, El Capitan just leads it from the front. I just would have loved it if you went for goal yourself in that last minute.
Yeah, had a bounce and
you
pull
know,
one.
you had the space in front of you. Yes, you had leading targets, but stuff him. You could see no one was reliable. Everyone was kicking out on the full. Draper's. Is there a dumber player in the AFL than Sam Draper at the moment?
Oh.
Seriously, I am very confident that the lowest IQ out of every single player in the AFL is without a doubt Sam Draper. I would liken him to the bench that we're sitting on.
I had Lockie O'Brien up there when he was at the Blues.
He's got the ball drop of an under 9 kid, doesn't he?
The problem is he doesn't look at the ball when he's dropping it. He's looking up at the goals the whole time as he's going for goal. I'm like, are you not planning on seeing how you're holding this football?
Too busy getting ready to celebrate.
He hit one goal earlier in the game and was doing the gunshot.
He's a good celebrator, actually.
He's a great celebrator. Shame he doesn't have much to celebrate about often because he keeps stuffing things up.
But do you want to see him ruck one out? You don't want Goldstein in the side anymore, or what's the mix? So if Parrish is playing this week, is it Parrish in, Goldstein out, Draper one out, or you get scared when he's one out?
No, I want 2 meter Peter in.
Yeah,
I like 2 meter Peter pinch hitting in the ruck.
Especially at Marvel Stadium for sure.
He's a Hall of Famer at Marvel.
Yeah, he is a Marvel Stadium merchant.
He's unbelievable.
It's almost like he's just every time he's got a pillow. Like, they say, the Gold Coast Suns have wonderful mattresses. Mate, Marvel Stadium turf is 2 meter Peter's mattress. Like, he will just sleep there and just sink in and feel at home. And like
maybe the plain food gets the Suns.
Maybe
They're dodgy snag.
They're eating pork snags on the Jetstar flight or something.
Mate, they need to copy the West Australian teams and fly in business or something. I don't know what they're going to need to do there, but I honestly think part of the reason why we lost on Friday night, an unforgivable loss, was in the coach's box.
Yeah,
definitely think the coach made some big mistakes. I wouldn't have dropped 2 meter Peter, especially not for Goldstein. Goldstein, you're a legend. You have done incredible things for North Melbourne. In fact, you were very useful for us at the start of the year when Draper was injured.
No, he's had a good season for you.
100%.
Sure. But the longer the season's gone on, the older he started to look, hasn't he?
Yeah, the more I watch him and I feel my knees get tired. Yeah. And I'm in the stands. You know what I mean? Like,
he looks buggered, doesn't he?
It's no disrespect to him because he is at that age now. You know what I mean? And he was sort of moved down. And I know Brad Scott obviously has a soft spot for him. Obviously, all the time that they spent at North Melbourne. But like, it's absolutely nothing personal. I'm actually really happy that we brought him across. I was very happy, mainly not for the on-field, but mainly for the training. Hopefully he can impart some wisdom into the buffoon. But it doesn't appear to have been the case.
He's always stripping Goldstein. So he's been on the cross trainer for an hour before he gets on the roller. He's bugged.
Yeah, exactly. So I want us to play Nick Bryan. I want us to play the kids. I want us to play the kids. Am I saying this season is dead and buried? Maybe a little bit, but yes. I also want to see the youngsters that are being rewarded, form in the VFL. Archie Perkins, I love you to bits, but mate, you suck these last 2.5 months, mate. Like, I get it. Football is hard, but you clearly need to go to the VFL and play in the VFL. And unfortunately, the coach is letting you down. The coach is playing you as the sub. That's the worst thing you can possibly do when you're low on confidence. Yeah. Just go to the VFL, build up that confidence, get those touches again, feel good about yourself. Because when you're up and about, he's a really good player to watch.
Who's your other first round pick?
Elijah Artis.
No, not him. He's a wet blanket. No, the one 3 years ago.
Nick Cox.
From Vic Country.
Zach Reid.
Ben Hobbs. Why don't we play Hobbs?
And why are we playing Ben Hobbs?
Hobbs is a great player.
I agree. Why aren't we playing Ben Hobbs?
He's a really good midfielder. I rate him, yeah.
I rate him too. A lot of the fans rate him too. But for some reason, the team selection is just bonkers at the moment.
Yeah. Put that quote on your Instagram. Archie Perkins, mate, you suck. That'll do good numbers.
For now. He's actually, when he's up and about, the guy is actually killing. He's really good. But his defensive efforts have
3
been
goals
quite
round
poor.
1, like 20 touches. He had a belter against the Hawks.
Yeah, when he's up and about, he is really exciting and he's going to be our next Jake Stringer. Unfortunately, he's replicating current Jake Stringer, which is not what you want to do. That contract's been signed, man. I swear that contract's been signed.
He gets happy, you reckon. Once he
gets happy, that's it.
Stops training hard.
He's signed and he's done. But a team that isn't done, the Dogs, they're just starting. They're coming in. They're looking to really make a really strong push into finals this year. They've had 2 great wins, and it's been a long time since I've seen a win in mud before. I forgot what mud looks like on a football field.
That goats track down at GMHBA.
Well, Jeb's got a really good yardstick for whenever you think about the Bulldogs. If you just think of where 8th and 9th is, so they're pretty much just bang on that line, the ladder. If you think anyone's better than them, they are. Anyone that's not, obviously below. Like, they're right on that 8th spot. So they've had some really good wins the last 2 weeks, obviously against the Blues and then the Cats. I don't think you would have banked them to win those games. Now they're coming up against the Swans. Like, I don't know. I just think it makes it a little bit more interesting, but they do have a good list, as we all know, but I did not see that game from Rory Lobb on the weekend. He was fucking insane.
He's an impenetrable
just
wall.
sitting in the hole, like going up, leading at the footy, leading Cameron to the footy. So I think a lot of people are asking whether Norton can go back and play that role, but obviously Bevo's pretty headstrong on him playing forward. So maybe they've found one in Lobb. So yeah, he's stopped doing as many TikTok dances with his missus and actually started to put his head over.
That was so embarrassing, wasn't it?
Oh mate, that was unbelievable.
I went and watched the Dogs and Swans play at Marvel early in the year, and they put so much talent out on the park. So when they've got, it's English, Bont, Ed Richards, Libba, Treloar, and then you go to the forward line and they've got Norton, Jamara, Sam Darcy, Cody Waitman.
West.
They've got Bailey Dale coming off the back. They've got West, who's just
Darcy,
a smart footballer. They put so much talent. So you go, how could you not, how can they, as Kane Conter, how are they not a top 4 team?
Exactly.
But then it is never easy to win at GMHBA Stadium. So that is coaching. They went down there, they got it done. So, but then a couple of weeks ago against Port Adelaide, 110 Saturday, they just got smashed. So you just can't trust them. So I don't know, but I'm terrified about them coming to the SCG this weekend. Bond could have 30 and 3. Like when he's on, he's the best player, one of the best players we've ever seen. So yeah, Libby gets to work. So we'll see. They can beat anyone and they can lose to anyone.
I've said it maybe, I don't know, repeatedly this year that if he doesn't win a Brownlow, he probably is the best player in the history of the game to not win a Brownlow.
Oh, he's.
Yeah.
I
Love to know that.
I sort of say like, if you get the AFL game and you're going to build a character, you legit build Bontempelli, 6'4", tough, beautiful kick, and take an overhead mark,
Hit the scoreboard.
hits the scoreboard. Like he's nearly the perfect footballer.
Good head of hair.
Great.
Just a horrible haircut at the moment, but he's all business right now, just playing footy. So yeah, he's such a star. He's such a star.
And does that mean that all of the pressure and all of the criticism and all the media talk around Bevo during the course of the season is justified? Because again, it comes down to, look, this team is unreal, but at the same time, they're capable of dishing out crap, and then at other times dishing out some really good stuff. Does it come down to the coach to be like, keep him grounded, keep him focused every week, or is it also he gets credit for the rising?
I reckon it's one of those ones where you're in the media, not that we're the media, but let's just say that we are. But
we are the better version.
You sort of got to wait. Like you go so early on having takes, and like takes are fun. Don't get me wrong, but he kind of lost the players and now got them back all of a sudden. So he obviously never really purely lost the players. It just wasn't clicking for whatever reason. But halfway through the year, it's Bevo's done. He's got to go. They're not playing for him. All of a sudden, now they're playing for him. So I think he deserves a shitload of credit to get them back to where they were. And we'll probably never know what the problem was mid-season, but you got to give him his flowers now, I reckon.
And like they'll definitely improve. Like Bailey Smith looks like he'll go, so they'll probably get a first for him.
Apparently he's bought a house out in Geelong West.
He'd be perfect down there. He'd be absolutely
perfect. That's great,
perfect.
mate.
If you had him,
Is that a breaking take?
Who said that?
So if you had that, and then Caleb Daniels will obviously go. So what do you get, a second rounder for him? I know. I just think that they're still in a really good spot for the next few years. I'm not sure whether English did want to go back to, or did they re-sign him?
No, they
have not re-signed him.
They sort of held strong on giving him a stupid contract. Like, well, it was going to be 6 years, $6 million.
So he didn't sign him?
They just haven't. Yeah, no one signed.
So like, I just think that you can get other ruckmen. Like, he definitely hasn't been as dominant this year as he has the last couple of years.
No.
So he was going forward and really pushing goals, but you don't need to do that when they got their forwards there. So like, fuck, if they get rid of him, they can get like another cheaper ruckman in there. Like, they're still going to be real competitive for the next few years. So yeah, I just don't think you want to play them in finals.
I think it was sort of said, I think it's sort of known before the season, if they don't make finals or win a final, Bevo goes. So he is coaching for his job. Geez, it'd be a nice job to get your hands on. Oh, if Bucks wanted to get back into coaching, wouldn't that be a nice list to go and coach to?
Like just anyone. We had a chat with him as well at Gather Round.
He was actually the best bloke in person. He gave us the time of day. He was so nice to us.
But just listening in the media and stuff all the time, the other players, like the ex-Collingwood players, when they talk about him, it just doesn't sound like someone that the group would rally around. I could be completely wrong, but just from hearing all that sort of stuff, I don't know. I just don't think he'd be a good fit.
Media's too good of a gig as well.
Yeah, it's too
count
good.
your cash.
You just sit here, you do this, and they get paid.
Look at the stats and just reel off a few takes.
Enjoy the media bucks.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, why would you give up a job like that? And that's why I was a little bit surprised that Brad Scott ended up coming back to coach. Just like, mate, you can make every stupid decision, make every stupid comment under the sun, and still keep your job. But look at Laura Kane and Andrew Dillon. You know, like
it must be a pretty good like the ability to be the guy that turns the club around though. Like, and when you can sort of see that picture with Essendon, like they've obviously haven't won a final in ages that everyone knows, but there's enough there to be like, hey, if I can turn this around, I'll be an all-time great forever. Same as like, who's going to be the one to turn around Carlton? Maybe it's Voss. So I just think like that Dimmer Hardwick going up to Fraud Coast, as you said, like who's going to be the first coach to win them a flag, or same at Freo. Like there's obviously a lot to it that with the pressure and stuff. And I think if there is success, then you will always have money after that. Like you'll get into any media gig forever. So you look at all the Channel 7 gigs, like they're all ex-Richmond, Brisbane and Hawthorn players, or Geelong. That's only people in the media, only guys that have won flags. So with success comes long-term success as well. So that's why you'd probably come back to coach.
Yeah, because if he does take this team and achieve something with it, he would absolutely go down in history as, you know, the coach that finally ended 20 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. And I know
17th.
It's more than any money can buy you.
I know in the Freo building, I heard Caleb Sarong on a podcast, and he was saying they talk about being the first Freo team to crack through and win a premiership.
Yep.
They'll be WA legends forever. Then they'll always celebrate that. If it's the 2024 premiership side, they'll have 5-year, 10-year, 15-year anniversaries, and they'll be legends of Fremantle for the rest of their life. So like the next coach that breaks through at Essendon and even just wins that final will be a legendary Essendon coach for the younger generation that's never seen you guys really have success. Like, I can't remember Essendon being good.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why it's, you know, I'm not saying woe is me here, or maybe a little bit, but for a lot of these 21st century, Essendon has been completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Or relevant, but for the wrong reasons. And so it's really hard to, I suppose, hold on to that young supporter base. They'll see other teams and be like, well, we've been in the same repeated cycle every single year since 2004, where we start to play good, people hype us up, and we look like we're challenging for top 4, maybe win a final. And then we get to July, towards the end of the season, we start to dip and we get really bad again. We hit rock bottom and we get told we're learning a lot, and we pick up another really good draft pick. And we have a great preseason, and all of a sudden, and the media starts hyping us up. Mick Malthouse comes in. They're my tip to win the flag. Nick Minute, we finished 14th, but it doesn't matter. The hype comes up again. We all believe we're close to top 4, and then we're back down again. It's the same it's the same triangle.
Just shows how tough it is to win. And like
you got to
appreciate, as you said before, like it was like, I can't stand if we lose another grand final to Victoria team, and you're like, oh, well, that actually sounds really nice, to be honest. Like, it just goes to show, like, if you're on top, you just got to make the most of it.
Does it really, like, irritate you watching, like, Hawthorn go down and now they're nearly going to go past you and they've already rebuilt and they might go past the Bombers? Does it irritate? Because I know Darce, this might be his best take, but he said in the preseason that Hawthorn would win more games than the Bombers.
Yep.
And they were 0-5. I think Bombers were 4-1. And he was copping it for it, and now it's going to go down right to the wire, and it could be an all-timer from him or, you know.
I told you this off the air. Never underestimate Essendon's ability to fuck things up. I know that was a Barack Obama quote in relation to Joe Biden, but it is equally as true about the Essendon Football Club in the 21st century. It is very annoying to see teams rise and fall, but then they rise, whereas we've always had false dawns. We've always had false mini rises, which builds up hope. And then it's the hope that kills you, right? But, you know, I just feel like this team is different. This team, I think, definitely is probably the best iteration of the Bombers that I've seen in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Outside of that one group where Jimmy Hurd had 2 All-Australian defenders in the back line and Joe Danaher in the forward line and Jobe in the midfield. And
see, I reckon that
team, too much about
I reckon that team is so much better than this team.
No, I think
when you guys were playing finals, like what, 2013? When was it?
No, that was the year we got kicked out.
Oh, that's
and
right.
then you guys came in.
Yeah, true.
And then you beat Richmond.
You guys were too busy eating needles.
The needles supposedly was the year before, and then we got punished the following year.
I was a Bombers hater, but I think you put a good product out in the park. I think there's good players on every line. I think Zach Merritt's as good as any player. I like Kyle Langford. I like Jake Stringer. I love Jordan Ridley. Ben Mackay can play, makes mistakes. He probably frustrates you, but key backs don't grow on trees. The guy that big, a fullback doesn't grow on trees. I just think there's something in the psyche at the Bombers. Like
100%.
when it gets to the fourth quarter of a late game, late in the season, all of a sudden Cole Langford starts missing easy goals and Jake Stringer goes missing for 40 minutes and Ben Mackay, stuffs up a handball and coughs one up and you're like, what is happening in front of me?
Jay Kelly's sitting in the hole.
Jay Kelly was supposed to be on a man.
Shit's bricks.
When Darren missed his boot, like it just...
Yeah, that was surprising to me as
amazing.
well.
Zach Merritt's like the best fourth quarter player almost in the AFL, and then the rest of your team drops off. The game against the Swans early in the year, Zach Merritt just took it to another level.
Yeah.
Against West Coast, took it to another level. And just like the rest of the team just doesn't come along with him.
Yeah, I've always said that we are a low IQ team. Like anyone who knows me has known that I've said this since my high school days that we are a low IQ side. Good to see some things never change with the same olds. But no, I definitely think that you're right. I think along each of the lines definitely have got players. I think the midfield, when everyone is fit, of a Merritt, Parrish, Holdwell, Durham, I think that's a great midfield.
That sounds a lot better now.
I think that's a terrific midfield mix. I think when 2 Meter Peter is up and about, Langford, Caddy, as he continues to play a bit more, I think those are three great, medium talls that you can kick towards. Definitely think Mackay, Ridley as a duo down there. Zach Reid when he gets fit and healthy. If he gets fit and healthy, we're praying on you, man. Honestly, that you can come good. Then that becomes a 3 tall back line as well. So I think the talent is there, 100%. It's the psyche. It's the putting the cue in the rack when we're up.
Yeah.
Every time we try to ice the game, we try to cool. And that's why our percentage is so bad.
Yep.
We never try to smash a team. We never go and hit through that wall. I think if we can ever get to that stage where we can break through that wall, then obviously we can be a bit more trusted. But at this point in time, it just feels like the players don't trust him.
Nick Martin's a massive X factor as well.
Yes,
like, you want to see him play in a big final where, he in Harry Shee's on way, he can be a good halfback, or when he's forward of the ball. What he did to Carlton, he kicked 3 goals in that quarter. That was an unbelievable quarter. Did it again on the weekend. So, he's got a heap of X factor. You just want to see these guys play a final, but you just watch the psyche of them, and it's sort of like they're terrified of big games because of that 7,000 day curse that they all cop the shit of. So we'll see.
And I think that them losing the way that they lost on the weekend and all this criticism coming their way it reminds me a lot of the Carlton of last year after Carlton lost to the Bombers. A lot of criticism, a lot of animosity, vitriol, a lot of yelling at the players as they were going down the race. The players went away, had to do a bit of soul searching, and then after that came back a different Carlton side. Like sometimes you have to hit rock bottom in order to face some cold, hard truth and rise stronger from it afterwards. So, and that's part of the reason why teams that fall and then rise again after they go through their rebuilds and just accept where they're at and then take that next step. So I'm really hoping that loss on the weekend can be the start of something. If it means finals this year, great. If not, then hopefully improvement for next year.
That as well, that was an awesome chat between Hodgie and King. I don't know if you saw that.
That was great. Yeah.
But you want that learning or that lesson to happen in round 19, not qualifying finally. Yeah. So they will learn so much from that last 2 minutes.
What side did you lean on, Hodgie or Kingy?
To be honest, I thought they were both correct.
Yes, a lot of people saying
they were both correct because it's true. Ben Mackay isn't there to learn how to handball.
Yeah.
He shat the bed.
Yeah.
He shat bricks when the pressure was on and we gifted them goals left, right and centre. And that was frankly unacceptable.
He's not on $1 million a year to do that sort of stuff, as David King said.
No. Now, it is definitely front-ended and he won't be on $1 million a year every year.
Yeah.
This is definitely a very inflated season when it comes to how much money he's going to be getting. But you've got him here as the rock for sure to defend. But at the same time, it's not just on him. It's also on how the team around it was all set up. You can't control Jake Kelly shitting the bed. Probably should have attacked the ball a bit better.
He shouldn't have even been in that spot.
Exactly.
He should have been back defending. You should have had Langford in the hole.
Do you reckon if Dyson, I know Dyson Heppel does look a bit past it, but experience on the field and a bit of leadership, do you reckon if he was out there, it might have played a bit different and he might have led them a bit better in that last sort of 5 minutes?
Yeah, I definitely think so. You would have hoped that maybe someone like the vice captain in Andy McGrath, who is in an official position of leadership, might have had a better chance being a leader when things were getting tough. So I think that was a tough game. It's going to be a very tough review for Andy McGrath.
They just said
that game as well.
They just said that's like now they've seen it. Like everyone should have known that plan. Everyone should have been able to call Jake Kelly back. Langford's come down to be the spare. He doesn't defend. That is whenever Charlie Curnow comes back, he gets caught defending, then we're fucked up. He's there to be that loose man. Everyone else needs the impact. So then he can go sit in the hole and just do what he does. So everyone should have fucking called him and said, hey, I'm sitting in the hole. You come back and defend. That's why I've come down as a forward. So as I said, now it's happened. It will never happen again.
Yeah, well, you hope so.
You would hope so, but we are a very low IQ team, and we have repeated many mistakes, like with our team selection going into wet weather games, and we have tall wings and tall subs and things like that. So, look, no one anticipated that we would be where we are at this point of the season. I think a lot of people early on or in the preseason would anticipate us to maybe be bottom 6, I think, at the start of the season.
You've got the list that everyone sort of goes, they make finals or miss finals. You sort of 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, I would have thought. But
we might end up finishing in 9th or 10th.
Yeah, it should have been. You had the chance to lock in top 2, top 4, and now it's just hard. The big game this weekend.
The massive game. We're going to talk about those tips in this next one. So stay tuned, guys. We will be going over the tips. But thank you, boys, at this point. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been absolutely incredible. Where can all of our viewers find you guys?
So we're on YouTube, so at 100K Sports, on Instagram, 100K_sports. So 100K Sports is basically where you find us. But so our show's on YouTube. It's a video. So it's basically a TV show. We try and make it. Podcast, obviously the usual Apple, Spotify, and all the normal.
If you type in the number 100, you can usually find us 100K Sports. And then we were on TikTok, but we got deleted for posting too much gambling. So no more TikTok, just Instagram, YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcast, basically.
TikTok's a little overrated anyway.
Oh, we were doing so well. Like we had a couple. Like how many?
Enough.
50?
But China's getting all the information, man.
You're close to 50,000, and we just kept getting reported just for like
little bits of gambling and stuff.
And then just deleted. Got taken down. Like
so it is.
Well, you can see that there's clearly more to these guys in gambling. These guys know what they're talking about. They're great fun. So if you haven't checked out 100K Sports, do yourselves a favor. It is one of the best shows going around on YouTube. Check out their merch as well. They've got some really cool, nice looking things. They're currently wearing them at the moment. If you can zoom in a little bit.
It's freezing in Melbourne, and these hoodies, I'm not even going to lie, they're actually like so comfy.
Just click the link in our bio to find the hoodies. And Morg's got the flags too.
If you're a diehard like us, no year on it. So if we don't win, it's just next year.
No receipts on the Flaggers tee. When they don't win it this year, you can't send them back. There's no receipts. If you buy one, you got to keep it. Sick of people trying to send them back when they don't win it.
No, thanks for having us. Awesome venue.
I love the venue. We've had a great time.
Shout out to the St Kilda Bowls Club. Love the area. So thanks for having us.
I'll definitely want to come back.
We're in the oldest change rooms in the
Southern Hemisphere.
160 years, basically.
Awesome.
They're actually awesome change rooms.
There's some shit talking in here.
We've just added to it.
Yeah, this is probably
another hour.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you've liked what you've had to see or hear from us today, please drop us a like, subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell to not miss out on any of the videos that we are pumping out on a regular basis. Check out, subscribe as well to 100K Sports because here at FanCast, we have a proper footy chat. See you in the next one, guys.